Hey, I just wanted to make a video because I saw an Emerson poll that said Andrew Yang did not have a lot of support among black voters, even though he had 8%. Uh, but as a young, spry black man, I feel like I can reach out to the community and tell y'all why you should vote for, or what candidate I think you should vote for and why it's Andrew Yang. And yes, I am black, but I took notes and I'm just gonna follow these. All right, so basically I'm starting with like issues in the black community, and then I'm gonna go on to some other stuff. So what I wrote down first was the war on drugs. If you don't know about this, basically it's like this racist thing that was started by Nixon and continued by Reagan, and it disproportionately targets and punishes black people. Um, like here, let me show you. Crack cocaine was punished at a ratio of 100 to 1 versus powdered cocaine, where crack was more used by black people and the powder was more used by white people. But that's just like one example. And then, you know, you can read, so I don't know. Yeah, this is my first video if you can't tell, but I'm probably deleting this. But the second point, uh, mass incarceration and, you know, problems with jails and stuff. So the US has less than 5% of the world's population, but about 25% of people in prison of the world. And felons lose the right to vote, which disproportionately disenfranchises black people because, you know, most most people, well, a large proportion of people in jails are black, like compared to other communities. Uh, bail, um, bail is not like proportional to like how much you earn or anything like that. It's much more just like a high set amount of money that poor people can't really pay. Not really poor people, maybe just like any people, like middle class, all that stuff. And so, you know, if you're poor, you get to sit in jail, and if you're rich, you get to go fucking free. You know, that's the country we live in, isn't it? It's so grand. Um, yeah. If you didn't know this, the 13th Amendment abolishes slavery except as punishment for a crime. And I'm not a big fan of Abraham Lincoln because he said he never thought that black people were equal to whites, and that black and white people should never like intermarry or anything. And I don't really give him props for doing, I don't know what the thing to do was, which was get black people out of slavery. I don't give props for doing what the fuck should have been done in the first place. But so there's that. So it it basically allows for people in prison to be slaves. Now I'm not sure if this is the reasoning or the enforcement they have behind it, but like for-profit prisons where they're basically allowed to have you work as slave labor, maybe making like what 50 cents an hour to basically just make the money. And here, CoreCivic, which is a private prison company, made 1.77 billion in 2017, and then private prisons donated 1.6 million in midterm elections, two midterm elections in 2018. So yeah, lobbying, which is also a problem. Um, you know, financed by the banks. Oh yeah, this is good. Blacks make up 13% of the US population, 27% of all arrests, 33% of the people in jails or prisons, and 42% of the population on death row. So, you know, not cool. Oh yeah. If you didn't know this, police are allowed to erase records after a while, and they can go to like, if they get fired from one police department, they can just like go to another police department basically. Um, Stop and frisk in New York wasn't great. Ooh, I didn't. 90% of stop and frisk victims were black or Latino, and 88% were innocent. That sounds unconstitutional to me, like a violation of the Fourth Amendment, uh, right against illegal search and seizure. And 99% of police violence cases resulted in no convictions. So 99%. So basically all of them. Civil asset forfeiture. Oh yeah. The police can just steal from you basically, and you have to prove that what they stole isn't being used in a crime, because they can steal it on the basis of, oh, this is being used in this crime. Like you're driving a car to get drugs or whatever, so they can steal your car. Yeah, I'm serious. So 15% of Americans in poverty, 27.4% of blacks in poverty, and 45.8% of black kids are in poverty. The U.S. spends less on poverty than other countries, even though we have more poverty. And they say that, or I was reading that, nobody really says that the actual poverty rate that they got in the census isn't really right. So the adjusted amount is expected to be around 33.9%. And so I'm going here where black moms are dying. Black moms die about 3 times more likely from pregnancy, like related things, than white moms. Same with Native American and Alaskan women. They also start or die around that rate, which isn't, cool. I doubt race makes you die more often when giving birth. That doesn't seem very correct. Damn, blacks are 34% less likely to be prescribed pain medication. U.S. has the highest rate of maternal death. I think I meant to write in developed countries, because I doubt that's worldwide. Okay, HCBUs, honorary college, or honorary black colleges and universities. If you didn't know, only 3% of 2 and 4 year. Okay, so like this is 3% of 2 and 4 year colleges, right? But they award 17% of all bachelor degrees that go to black people. So HBCUs are important to the black community and have an important effect on the black community. But public funding has been cut by 42% since 2003, and they face discrimination when they try to get private funding. So they have to rely more on the public funding that, got cut. But, oh yeah, gentrification. So this one's kind of, well, they're all serious. But this one's, I don't know. But gentrification is bad too. It's when you sort of move area to, or upgrade an area, and it makes like all the houses like more expensive, which makes like rent more expensive, which makes people of lower incomes have to like move out and stuff. And it doesn't really have to be that way. There are lots of things you can do to keep the people there, but they don't really do that here at the bottom. But if you encourage affordable housing through lending, like tax and stuff, and like tax and rent controls, you can have like the lower income people still living there, or being able to live there, and that would be good for them. That would be good for those communities. All right, so the reason I think black people should vote for Yang is because I think he's the best candidate, not just for black people, but for everybody, but also for black people. All right, so freedom dividend, it gives everybody, if you haven't heard of this is basically his main fucking deal. Like $1,000 free a month for everybody over 18. I think this is great because, I would love a free $1,000 a month. Like, imagine, okay, all right, here's an analogy. Okay, it helps poor people more because even though everybody's getting the same amount of money. So say you make $500 a month, and then you get 1,000 added onto that, so you're making 1,500. So that increases how much you make by like a factor of 3. Like 500 times 3 is 1,500, right? But if you make 5,000, it only increases by like 20%. So while you both get the same amount of money, it does help poor people more, which is great. Not specifically because it helps poor people more, but think about it. It's free. It's basically welfare that benefits the poor more. Or I wouldn't say welfare, but like something for everybody that also helps the poor exponentially. And it's not that extreme. So, uh, like it's probably more like what 2,000 to like 4,000 maybe. I don't know. I'm not even sure if you can hear that. I think that's one of my brothers. Uh, but yeah, it helps. Like, think of all the things it could do. All right, so all you gotta do is be 18, and you can get $1,000 a month, and you can use that $1,000 however you want. So you can pay bills, rent, buy a car, buy food. If you're homeless, then you can get off the street. Like I stayed in an extended stay. That was like $250 a week, and even if I couldn't stay there, like so you can get like 2 weeks, right? Pay some, buy some food, get like a haircut, so you don't look terrible. Take a shower, buy some bath products, all that good stuff, and yeah, and then maybe hopefully you can get a job, and if not, then 2 weeks later, after you're gonna get kicked out when you're homeless again, you can try again. At least, it's better than being on the street 4 weeks out of a month instead of 2 weeks out of a month. Shit, I would have taken that. Medicare for all. That one's kind of obvious. Free healthcare. Everyone should have it. Democracy dollars. $100 to donate to any candidate. This helps beat lobbying because, any number of people can just donate them or donate the money to a campaign to help get a candidate elected. Climate change. He wants to like plant trees and like add plankton and all that stuff. And I mean, it costs money, but I don't know. The debt doesn't really bother me. I don't really have time to explain it, but I feel like the debt isn't as important as people make it to be. And, it's saving the fucking planet. So what? You want to spend money or you want to die? That's basically your question. Well, not you, but us. Data as a property right. I'm going to let you read this. I actually have a time limit because I think YouTube, this is my first video, so YouTube has like a time limit of 15 minutes, I think. Term limits, this is great. I love this. So you can't be in Congress for life. You can't be a Supreme Court justice for life, which I really don't have as much of a problem with. But I mean, I think it's still good. Legalize weed. This really helps everybody. And he'll release nonviolent drug offenders. I'm not sure if it's just for weed or for everybody, but I hope it's for everybody. But I don't know. Weed's good, but I feel like decriminalizing all drugs. I don't want decriminalization of all drugs because I feel like that helps. Because decriminalization of opioids made shit better. In I don't remember where. I guess. Damn, I know it's from somewhere. That's why he has it on here. He got the idea from somewhere. Oh yeah, he wants to end private prisons, which is fucking great. So they don't profit on us being in jail. Restoration of voting rights to felons, which I agree with. There's a couple more, like he would lower the voting age to 16, and there's one more I can't really think of right now, but yeah, so that's all. I just want to make this video, so I'm gonna end it here. All right, see ya.